We heard from Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule here on Monday as the Huskers close the book on Louisiana Tech and get ready for Michigan coming to town. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com. First and foremost, Rhule addressed his quarterback position with Jeff Sims and Heinrich Haarberg.
We'll have to see tomorrow, Heinrich and Jeff, in terms of who can, how they practice. Obviously, Heinrich didn't finish the game. We don't think it's much, but I reserve judgment until I see him, see where Jeff's at. So we have a full picture on that.
Also, questions out there about the status of linebacker Luke Reimer.
And Luke Reimer, still would be questionable for the game as we sit here right now. So we'll see where he's at.
Through 4 games, a real promising stat for Nebraska has been their rushing offense and rushing defense. Huskers lead the nation right now in rush defense, ranked 6th nationally in rushing offense.
Well, it's a step in the right direction for the blueprint of what we want to do. I'm not a super big stats guy in that. I think sometimes they can be misleading, but I do think it for a team that was, I think, 108th last year in rush defense, and it's not like we played, we played a Big Ten team, we played a Pac-12 team, we faced a team in Northern Illinois, so we faced some good teams. I think it's trending in the right direction. This is a team that's going to come in that's going to try to prove a point on the ground against you and run the ball at you, and so guys have to be up for the challenge. But just from a 50,000-foot view, what we're doing, the blueprint that we want to have is moving in that direction. So we just have to keep accelerating it each week.
And when you look at this game against Michigan, the Wolverines play exactly the style of football Nebraska wants to build on.
Everything. You think about when Coach Harbaugh first came in, was taking over, after, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 coaches, and I don't ever want to be, but, a couple of years of not being a great program after being a great program, and he recruited. I remember I worked one of his camps when I was the head coach at the Temple. You guys probably don't remember, but he was the guy that started the satellite camps, right? And there was a big controversy at the time, right? He was the first person to go at 12:01 to someone's house in recruiting. So I did that then. I didn't like doing it, but I did it because he was doing it. So he's had a real impact on the game. But his sometimes I'll have recruits say to me, like, well, Coach, are we going to be good? And I'm, what, should I go to Michigan? I'm like, well, he did it, so that's what we're doing. So, so his blueprint for building that program, for the way that they play, a lot of those things are similar. Obviously we want to have a little bit of an option element at times too, so there's differences, but the overall arching blueprint for being great on the O&D lines, having good quarterback play, being physical at tight end, all those things, that's what we're doing.
We've seen a lot of growth on this offensive line, particularly with Bryce Benhart here, who's currently the highest graded out player on the line according to Pro Football Focus.
Obviously I can't talk about too much beyond. I just, what I saw from him last year, I think he's playing well. I think he's those guys are doing what's asked of them. I think when you add the option component in, that adds a lot to the offensive line. There's a lot of understanding the box counts and who the read key is and the pitch key is and all those different things. But I think Bryce is playing well, and they're certainly going to get tested this weekend with the edge players that Michigan has. I think all those guys in the offensive line, they come in every day, they work, they battle, they get in the games, they fight. Again, because of kind of the way we play offense, you get to some games and it's a little different than what you expected, right? So they have to kind of adjust early in the game to see how people are playing us. And I think Bryce is one of those guys who does a great job at that.
Meanwhile, questions continue at left tackle Turner Corcoran, and now Teddy Prohaska getting himself back. Could we see Prohaska work his way on the field?
Yeah, we got the guy. We got Turner's a starter. Teddy has a role. We just keep bringing him along every week. Every week we say who gives us the best chance to win. Right now they're kind of in the roles that they're in, and we'll see how this week goes. But Teddy's healthy. It's just a matter. For a while we're just getting him back, getting his feet wet. But each week we're just going to play who we think gives us the best chance that week.
Another storyline to watch has been Tommy Hill, who's playing wide receiver as well as defensive back and even returning kicks for the Huskers.
Yeah, I just love Tommy Hill. I think he's explosive. I think he's dynamic. I think he's tough. I think he's smart. He was about to take that kickoff return to the house. Now we got the holding call. He's about to take that kickoff return to the house. He fumbled it. And he's the first guy who's like, "Hey, that's that's on me. That's terrible, coach." So I just think when you have good players, you use them, right? So he was going to be a starting corner. He got hurt. He He's kind of a rotational corner for us. He just works twice as hard, so he's helping us on offense. Initially, it was kind of as a big play threat, and then last week we just started using him more. Hey, you're practicing on offense, you're practicing on defense. So if I have a good player, I'm going to try to use him as much as possible. So he has the mind. A lot of guys couldn't do it. He has the mindset and the competitiveness and the intelligence to do it.
There's no question this week Nebraska's defense, though, is going to get a physical test here from this Michigan offense.
They're all excellent players, and I think when you look at a team like Michigan, I think you look at everybody that they have, the great backs that they have, but quarterback, is an excellent player. He can beat you with his feet. Just when you think you're going to overload the box, he can pull his own read down. He can run a quarterback bounce play. He can spin it. So it's an excellent offense, well put together with a great offensive line, great tight ends, great backs. So they'll challenge every single aspect of everything that you do defensively because they're not afraid to say, hey, we're going to run this ball and get it to the unblocked player. And they expect the standard for them is, hey, you got to make that guy miss. And if he tackles you once, you got to make him miss the next time. And so that's the way we look at football. And when we've had big plays, it's a play like Heinrich where the guy's unblocked, he makes the miss, and he scores a touchdown. So I'd say any and all. They're good at what they do. It'll be a challenge for our guys, a good one.
The Wolverines will be led by quarterback J.J. McCarthy.
Well, I think they have a great passing game. He's got tremendous protection, so he's got time, and he operates on time. He knows where to go with the football. You play man against him, he goes to the route they think is that they designed to beat man. He attacks coverages. As I said, he's excellent with his feet too. So he's a dual threat quarterback that plays as a pro style quarterback, but when he needs to, he can run. And he's got poise. The game's never too big for him. So I've watched a lot of tape on them. I've watched them last year. I've watched them this year, and I think he's. They've beaten 2, 3-1 teams. They've beaten 2 teams that are undefeated other than playing them, and they beat them pretty soundly. So he's played against good competition. He's just good at everything he does.
Reporting here with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.